Thank you very much, everyone, for joining today to our EU Info Day to present our two business mission in Japan and the Republic of Korea around the sector of semiconductors. My name is Tatiana, and I'll be presenting part of this today along with my colleagues that will also introduce themselves during the session. In order to give you a bit of a quick flavor of what we'll be looking at today, here is the agenda. For the session. We'll get started with a quick overview of the EU Business Hub and the program as a whole. Then we will look into the two business missions that we are proposing as the EU Business Hub, along with a quick starter on the two markets that we're looking at, which are Japan and the Republic of Korea. We have today with us a team of experts that will give you a quick overview of the markets in semiconductor in the two countries. Then we'll look into the different selection criteria, so who can apply. We'll also showcase a couple of testimonies from previous editions, and then give you a couple of tips and tricks for successful applications. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to drop them in the chat. We will have indeed a Q&A session at the end, so don't hesitate to use it. And very much looking forward to hearing from all of you. So without further ado, I'll get started with a quick overview of the EU Business Hub. So actually, you've probably heard of this program before. It's actually a long-standing initiative in the B2B cooperation in the EU. You've probably heard of the EU Business Avenues or the EU Gateway, for instance. So these are the former EU Business Hub. And as you can see, the initiative has been quite long-standing since the 90s. And the team has actually been working on the project for a couple of iterations already. So very much happy to be able to leverage on that previous experience to enhance yours. So that's why today you have a very solid team that has done already several iterations of business missions and also participated to previous iterations of the programs. Then in the next slide, let me give you a quick overview also of what the EU Business Hub is all about. I think it's a big umbrella word, but actually stands for a couple of important features. And basically, it's an EU-funded program that supports European small and medium-sized enterprises as well as startups in three key sectors. The first one is the green sector, the digital sector, and finally the healthcare sector. And so all of these are really our sectors of interest, the target sectors where we recruit companies to participate to the program. And the objective is supporting European startups and SMEs to enter the markets in Japan and the Republic of Korea. In order to do this, we have 10 business missions that are taking place in Japan and 10 others in the Republic of Korea between 2024 and 2027. So this is quite a few opportunities for companies to join us. For each of these business missions, we have 50 innovative companies that are selected. So I'm hoping to see many applications. That one of you today is one of them. And just maybe as a recap, in the next slide, you'll see a quick overview of what we do in a couple of numbers. And I think this slide is quite explicit. So our three sectors are two markets, Japan and the Republic of Korea, and our 20 business mission overall with 50 companies per business mission. So if you're one company in one of these sectors looking to enter any of these two markets, you're probably in the right place right now. Maybe just to give you a geographic overview of the sectors that we're looking at per country. So as you can see on this map, in the Republic of Korea, our business missions are targeting the three subsectors that we have. So digital solutions, green and low carbon technologies, as well as healthcare and medical equipment. In Japan, we have as a target two out of the three sectors, the digital solutions ones and the green and low carbon technologies one. So this is a bit the overview. And then in terms of like overall objectives of the program, you can see in this slide that it's actually quite straightforward, which is why I think it's so good. The first one is trade facilitation. Basically, this program really helps facilitating trade and cooperation between Japan and the Republic of Korea, and this happens really in the context of the current agreements already in place between the EU and both the countries. So you're also going into into a program that has strong foundations and that dates back from several legal agreements, partnerships that the countries have together. The second objective is supporting European SMEs, providing assistance, tailored assistance, especially through this program, to establish business connections and develop your strategy in the target markets. The third one is the promotion of the EU brand, making sure that our EU companies have a platform to advertise their brand, advertise their services, showcase their products in Japan and the Republic of Korea, and especially represent the EU abroad on these two markets. Finally, the last one is also supporting companies in developing the market insight. In fact, allowing European companies to go to Japan and the Republic of Korea is also a precious moment for them to better understand the market context, the conditions, the culture, the practices, the ways of doing the business. And this is something that we're really aiming at providing through this program in order to also help you enhancing your overall strategy. So this is a bit for the objectives. Now let me give you a quick overview of the timeline ahead for our business missions. So as I mentioned, we have our three sectors in our two countries. And here, just to give you a quick overview for Korea, we have two missions that are coming up. The first one is Semiconductors Korea 2026, taking place in February. And the next one is Healthcare and Medical Equipment Korea 2026, taking place in March. As you can see, we have already 3 business missions that took place in each of the sectors of the program in the country. So already quite some good learning, quite some good experience, and quite some good testimonies also to showcase. So this is for 2026 in Korea. And in Japan, we have a similar timeline. And as you can see, we have EU Business Hub at Semicon Japan in 2025, so in December, taking place in Tokyo. And then the Smart Energy Week Spring edition Spring 2026, taking place in March in Tokyo. And actually, it's quite nice because it's the second edition of each of these two business missions. As you can see, it will be the 5th and the 6th business mission in Japan. So quite also some good impact to showcase. So now that you know a bit more about the timeline, I'll wrap up this first section before we do a bit more of a deep dive into our target countries with a couple of elements of the benefits around the program. And we managed to kind of like put them all in one slide, but I think we can talk about these a bit even a bit more extensively. The first one is around strategic coaching. In fact, our companies benefit from not only pre-departure prep, so you have access to briefings, online coaching, market intelligence reports, but also during your time in Japan and the Republic of Korea. So this is a bit of a overall like covering during your whole experience. When you're in the country, you have sectoral brief, industry visit, briefing session with experts. So this is also quite of a good way of deep diving into the market that you're interested in. You also receive B2B matchmaking support with a prearranged agenda of B2B meetings before your arrival, and individual like also assistance to support you in creating your network, developing your relationships there, and also meeting companies that might be interested in your company. Then you have the possibility to be present in an individual space at the exhibition. So in Japan, you will be on the EU pavilion within the fair, and in Korea we will be hosting a standalone event next to a very big fair there, and companies are invited to join you at your booth there, where you will be able to meet all the different partners that you're interested in. So you have also the possibility to have a very much decorated booth where companies are able to host their meetings. So that's also quite convenient. Then in terms of the logistic, the program is really supporting you in all the booking of the hotel, networking, reception, interpretation, installation of your booth, but also creation of the digital catalog with that help advertising your company, for instance. So all of these elements are covered by the program and supported by our team directly. In terms of the accommodation, the program covers 4 nights and 1 room per company. So basically for the whole duration of the program. So that's also quite of an interesting asset, I believe, because you do not pay for your accommodation during the business mission. You will only pay extra nights if you decide to take any. But for the whole duration of the business mission, you are covered by the program. Then we have a range of customized services. These are really aiming at enhancing your visibility, making sure that you benefit from the right tools to really promote your business. We have financial support available with the program covering up to 80% covering 80% up to €1,000 of the customized services you choose, and these include anything related to regulatory advice, translation, interpretation, booth decoration, all these elements that allow you to really stand out once you are in Japan and the Republic of Korea. You can even combine them, which makes it even better. So these are a bit the different assets of the program that I believe are very much interesting for companies to know before heading to their business mission. So these are a bit all for the wrap up. I'll now leave the floor to my colleagues in order to give you a quick overview of the semiconductor market trends in Japan and the Republic of Korea. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, hi everyone, I'm Antoine from Deloitte Japan, and I will give you some insight regarding the semiconductor market in Japan. So, I have to say that it is a very dynamic sector here in Japan. So, I will give you a sector overview, opportunities, and I will also share success stories regarding the sector. So let's start with the sector overview. So this is what you see on the left-hand side of the slides. So you can see 6 main subsectors. So if I go one by one, then you have the first of all the manufacturing and equipment and tools subsector. So this is a very important part of the Japanese sector, and you have key companies such as Tokyo Electron, Nikon, Canon. And here, the trend in Japan is that they are really developing EUV lithography tools and advanced nodes. So this being said, here for this subsector, the main challenge is the competition for SAML, but as well IRD cost, because it is very costly to develop advanced solution in this subsector. Then after you have materials and chemicals. So this represents 50% of global silicon wafer market. So pretty important player here for this subsector. So you have companies such as Shin Etsu Chemical, Sumco, and here the companies are participating to the growth of EUV materials, as well as materials for 3D packaging. Okay, here the challenge is supply chain disruptions, because in this subsector actually supply chains are very sensitive to natural disaster and geopolitical tensions. If I go to the next one, so this is components and subsystem. So here you have companies such as Ulvac, Oriba, Hamamatsu Photonics. And they are actually playing a big part in the precision system for miniaturized chips. So here the problem, it is I think a global problem, is that because the chip size is shrinking, then it's very difficult and more complex to produce these chips. Nextly, so what we have factory automation environment. So you have companies such as Mitsubishi Electric, Fanuc, Yasukawa Electric, and here they are leading the charge for AI, IoT, and sustainability-focused automation. And here the actual problem is because some factories are a bit old, so it's very difficult to challenge the legacy fabs. Then after you have software engineering services. So here you have companies such as Symosip Japan, Candice Japan, and they are mainly driving AI ML-driven design tool. And here the main challenge faced in Japan is because the companies in Japan are so big and have been first on front of the sector that it is very difficult to surpass these companies. And lastly, you have economic ecosystem support and other subsector. So here the main player are JETA, and you also have government agencies and universities. So here there is really an increasing government focus on domestic semiconductor production. So there is a real push by the government. And here the challenge is to access to advanced manufacturing and prototyping facilities. Okay, so this is a sector overview. So to summarize, I would say that Japan is really well positioned. The good news for the audience is that collaboration is a key component of the Japan market. So you can see that there is already some existing collaboration also with EU companies. So it can be seen through joint ventures to develop the cutting-edge technology. You will also have R&D. So R&D is for miniaturization and quantum computing. And you will also see a good synergy between the Japanese and EU companies for the co-manufacturing, where actually the both regions are going to leverage on each know-how. So Japan is for manufacturing and EU is for the process expertise. And looking forward, so it's also promising because Japan is leading in terms of AI, 5G, and quantum solution. There is also development of sustainability methods. And again, the focus is on the automotive focus, which is aligned with the global trends. So it means that there is lots of possibilities and opportunities to collaborate with Japan. In terms of opportunities, so what is the merit of going to Japan is because by going to Japan, you will access to advanced research and development opportunities. You will also have some collaborative frameworks that strengthen supply chain resilience. And also, there is alignment as well with the globe regarding sustainability and carbon neutrality goals, which is key for the sectors. Okay. And then finally, I will also share maybe two success stories. So one is with Soitec. So it's a company from France who partnered with Shinetsu Chemical, the Japanese companies, and they have partnered to develop some SOI wafers for 5G IoT automotive, and that helps both companies to strengthen their market positions. The second example is the collaboration between EAV Group, so from Austria, and Canon. And these two companies actually, they partner to develop advanced wafer bonding and lithography solutions. And that enable actually to really move the market through enabling next generation chips for AI and IoT applications. So the sector is very dynamic. And my conclusion is that, there is very good grounds for collaboration with the EU, and the future seems very bright for the collaboration between Japan and EU.
Thank you so much, Antoine, for the wonderful summary on the market opportunity in Japan. Hello, everyone. Thank you again for joining the session today. My name is Radhavi. I'm part of the local Korean unit here. and we will now explore strategic opportunities for European companies in Korea's fast evolving semiconductor ecosystem. We look at four key areas: attractive subsectors, European success stories, current and emerging collaboration models, and concrete market entry opportunities. Let's now take a closer look at the important subsectors where we're seeing both domestic innovation and opportunities for international collaboration. I'm just going to pause here to check if you can hear me well. Team, if you can give me a confirmation. Okay, great. Moving on. As most of you already know, the Republic of Korea holds a strong global position across several semiconductor segments, each offering distinct entry points for European firms. In manufacturing equipment and tools, which accounts for 24.4% of the global share, local firms are pushing for localization, yet still heavily rely on foreign lithography tools, creating opportunities for high precision European suppliers. In materials and chemicals, which accounts for roughly 18% of the global market share, reshoring efforts and demand for advanced substrates open doors for niche, high quality European offerings amid pricing pressures from China and Taiwan. The components and subsystem segments is growing though challenged by low cost competition, potential fit for European firms offering custom or high reliability solutions. In factory automation and environmental solutions, policy driven modernization efforts need tailored integration with legacy systems where European collaboration can add value. Finally, software and engineering services remains predominantly US dominated, but growing interest in AI accelerators and open source EDA in South Korea offers room for European players with specialized software or R&D capabilities. Moving on, we can briefly look at some of the successful European engagement in South Korea semiconductor sectors. We have two examples, both from Netherlands. Coincidentally, ASML is building an EUV cluster in Hwasong, serving as both support and collaboration hub, a strong example of deep technical integration with Korean chipmakers. Similarly, NXP Semiconductors has partnered with Korean startup CIOT to co-develop semiconductor security technologies, highlighting Korea's openness to co-innovation with agile, IP-driven firms. These cases show that Korea welcomes both large-scale industrial investment and dynamic R&D collaboration from European players. If you look at the collaboration landscape, the current collaboration landscape features joint ventures in EUV lithography, shared technology initiatives like advanced node certifications and EDA tools, and co-funded R&D in materials and process innovation. Looking forward, promising opportunities for European firms include joint R&D for decarbonizing fabs, ventures to localize South Korea's material supply chain, co-development of semiconductor tools, and roles in building resilient ecosystems amid global tech tensions. These efforts span both advanced technology and strategic supply chain engagement. So in conclusion, the Republic of Korea offers strong opportunities for European semiconductor companies. As a global leader in memory and foundry services, South Korea is a prime market for supply of tools, EDA software, and advanced packaging. The national drive to localize supply chains, supported by incentives for foreign co-manufacturing, further opens doors. The government's pro-innovation stance welcomes foreign firms in high-tech equipment, materials, and joint R&D. Additionally, South Korea's growing demand for factory automation and digital twin solutions creates new prospects for European tech providers. Altogether, the Republic of Korea presents a dynamic, high potential environment for strategic collaboration across the semiconductor value chain.
Thank you so much for colleagues for this valuable information. Now let's go to the details of the two business visions we are presenting today. The first one, as you know, is the EU Business Hub at Semicon Japan 2025. Here we have a general overview of this business mission. It will take place this year in December from the 15th to 19th in Tokyo, Japan. Companies participating in this business mission will receive a tailored coaching on how to do business in Japan and market intelligence information. Participants will also exhibit at the EU Pavilion at the Semicon Japan 2025 for 3 days. We will also help with a targeted promotion of your products and services. In total, companies will have 3 days of B2B matchmaking sessions with local companies and stakeholders, and will have a wide opportunity to network with local stakeholders at the trade fair and the reception session. For this specific business mission, we are looking for European SMEs involved in the semiconductor sector, such as including all parts of the value chain from design, products and services, equipment for front end and back end, including components, manufacturing equipment, inspection equipment, metal processing, cutting and plating, and surface treatment. So if your company belongs to any of these subsectors, you will be welcome to participate in this business mission. Here we have the agenda of this business mission. It's a tentative agenda. It will be from the 15th to the 19th December. On the first day, we will have the welcome and network gathering, where participants will have the opportunity to organize the business mission week and know the participants, know each other. On the second day, we will have the briefing sessions and study tours or site visits. And in the following 3 days, participants will have matchmaking and will be exhibiting at Semicon Japan 2025 on the EU pavilion. Also on Thursday, on the 18th, we have a business networking reception prepared for the participants. And finally, to close the business mission, on Friday, we will have a post-business mission debriefing with participants. Here we have some images from previous editions of this business mission, where we see how the companies participate in briefings and networking sessions, as well as some images of the EU pavilion and how the companies participants are exhibiting at Semicon Japan. Here we also have some images of how the EU pavilion will look like, and where all participants will be exhibiting all together, each having their individual booth. And here we have a timeline of this business mission. We have the deadline of 12 September to apply. So by this deadline, you will need to complete the 2 steps of the application process, the expression of interest form and the application form. Once we receive all the applications, we will communicate the selection results to applicants in October. Also in October, selected companies will have the pre-departure briefing, and finally in December 2025, participants will embark on the business mission to Japan. And now we have the second business mission that we are presenting today, Semiconductors Korea 2026. This business mission will take place in Seoul, the Republic of Korea, in February 2026 from the 9th to the 13th. Also, participants of this business mission will have tailored coaching on how to do business in South Korea and market intelligence information. In this case, companies will be exhibiting at a standalone EU Business Hub events next to Semicon Korea, so not directly at Semicon Korea, but of course, participants will have the opportunity to visit Semicon Korea 2026 to further network with local companies and stakeholders. And in total, participants will have 3 days of B2B matchmaking sessions. For this specific business mission, we are looking for European SMEs and startups active in the semiconductor industry, such as sustainable semiconductor manufacturing technologies, advanced semiconductor design and fabrication processes, semiconductor materials and equipment, advanced packaging and integration solutions, semiconductor-related software and AI-based applications, and emerging technologies, including quantum computing, power electronics, and smart mobility. So again, if you belong to any of these sectors, don't hesitate to apply to the business mission. And here we have the agenda of this business mission. Again, it will be a 5-day business mission from the 19th to the 13th February 2026. On the first day, we will have the welcome and networking gathering, so participants can know each other. On the second day, we'll have the briefing sessions and study tours. And the following 3 days, we will have the matchmaking sessions. On the 11th and the 12th, companies will be exhibiting at the EU Business Hub Standalone Semiconductors Korea 2026 event. Also on Wednesday, we'll have the business networking reception. And finally, on Friday, the 13th February, participants will visit Semicon Korea 2026. And to close the business mission, we'll have the post-business mission debriefing at the end of the day. Here we also have some pictures from previous editions where we can see the participants, how the coaching sessions are taking place, the standalone event in Korea. And here we have the timeline of this business mission. The application deadline is the same for both business missions. By 12 September, you will need to submit the expression of interest and the application form. Then in October, we will communicate the results of the selection process. In November, participants will have the online pre-departure briefing to finally embark on the business mission in February 2026. Now let's have a look at the eligibility criteria to participate in our business missions. So we do have 6 main requirements here. The first one is for EU SMEs and startups to exist for more than 5 years and be able to demonstrate 3 years of financial figures. And in case of startups, to exist for 3 years and be able to demonstrate 2 years of financial figures. The second requirement is to be entirely or majority EU owned and have the headquarters in the European Union. The third requirement is to be active and operational in one of the economic sectors covered by the program, either as a producer, subcontractor, engineering company. But please note that business consultants are not eligible to participate in our business missions. The fourth requirement is to have a proven track record of international business cooperation outside the European Union. The fifth is to have a sufficient turnover and number of people employed to successfully enter the tanker markets. And the sixth requirement is to have a solid business strategy for entering the Japanese and the Republic of Korea markets. Now, we are aware that this is not easy to expand to these countries, and that's why each SME and startup can participate in up to 3 business missions distributed within both target countries, with the opportunity to engage in a maximum of 2 business missions in the same country. This means that we give the companies to participate in up to 3 business missions, 2 to Japan and 1 to Korea, or 2 to Korea and 1 to Japan. And here we have some testimonials from previous business missions. So here we have the Pavel from a Bulgarian company called Kabasoft that participated in Digital Solutions Korea 2024 business mission. They shared that the Digital Solutions Korea 2024 business mission opened doors they never imagined, and they connected with potential partners, clients, and distributors from across Asia. The exposure has been phenomenal. We also have the testimonial of the company Alex Lab, in this case a Swedish company, that shared that the level of business matchmaking and personalized support was outstanding, and they are returned home with potential partners and clients ready to collaborate. If you like to learn more about our participants from previous business missions and their testimonials, here you have a QR code that directs to our YouTube channel, where you can see more interviews and testimonials from our previous participants. Now, let's see how to apply to these business missions. It's a very easy process. Here we have the main steps. The first one is the registration. you just need to go to our website. You can do it through this QR code or by typing eubusinesshub.eu, and you will see there is these green boxes, join us or get started. Well, you will have the opportunity to create your own account. Here, you just need to provide an email address, a password, contact person details, company name, country, and VAT number. And once you create your own account, you will be able to submit the expression of interest form. So once you have your own account, you see the business missions that we have open for application. Here, you just need to select a mission and fill in the expression form and submit it by the set deadline. The expression of interest includes information such as company details, contact person details, business activities, and motivations. Once we receive your expression of interest, the evaluation team will assess your company profile based on the 6 requirements that we previously explained. And if your company profile is deemed eligible for that specific business mission, you will be invited to apply. On the other hand, if your company profile is not eligible for that specific business mission, do not hesitate to reach out for feedback, because your company might be eligible for another business mission. Here, please note that the expression of interest form is not a finalized application, as eligible companies will be invited to submit the application form. Now, the third step is the application form. Once you have been deemed eligible to participate in the business mission, you just need to log in to the members area and complete and submit the application form within the set deadline. The applications will be assessed by independent experts using predefined criteria. And again, if your application is unsuccessful, feel free to contact us for feedback, as you might be eligible for another business mission. Here, I just have 3 points I would like to highlight. The first one is that the application is a 2-step process composed of the expression of interest form and the application form, and you will need to complete both to correctly apply to a business mission. The second point is that the application form is meant to give you the opportunity to showcase your activity in the best way possible. So we invite you to take your time to properly detail each of the categories. And the third point is just to let you know that the application form includes information like company details, business profile, business activities, international strategy, and participant details. Having explained the application process, now I'll give the floor to my colleague Tatiana, so she can give you some tips and tricks for a successful application.
Indeed. Thank you very much. So there are a couple of points in order to make your application successful. And let's start with the basics. We'll start with the expression of interest, which is the first step of our application. Couple of elements help make it great. The first one is add as many details as you can in your expression of interest. Make sure that you collect all the information that we need to know about your company in your expression of interest. The thing is, this expression of interest is also used to feed into your application in the next step. So the more information you put in there, the more is already reflected in your application, which saves you time in the long term. So as many details as possible is really important. The second point is to be descriptive. You need to show us that you're a good fit. In fact, we have a board of experts examining your expression of interest and your applications. And these really need to understand exactly what you are aiming for. What's your strategy? What's your background? How will you achieve it? Why do you think this is a good market? Why is this a good fit? All of these why that should be answered in your expression of interest and later on in your application. The third point is to reach out. In fact, during your expression of interest phase, before submitting your application, you can reach out to our team. We have a number of clusters, which are actually our individual network of the program that are here to answer your questions. Our clusters are actually members of the Chamber of Commerce of the different member states, and they are all well informed about the program. We have touch point with them like every week. And you can definitely reach out to them. Their contact will be shared at the end. They're also available on the website, and they're here to answer your questions about how to, is your application detailed enough? Should you add this information or not? And all of the questions you may have at this stage. So really, don't hesitate to use the team as a segue to achieve a successful application. That's why the team is here for. Finally, I would also recommend that you ask for feedback. In fact, after the expression of interest stage, you will receive an eligibility decision, either a positive one, either a negative one, that allows you or not to submit an application. If you received a non-eligible expression of interest, I would highly recommend you reach out to our team. We will also share the contact at the end, but it's also available on the website to hear about the feedback. The reasons can be diverse. Either it's because you're not a fit for the trade fair, but that doesn't mean that you are not a fit for another one. Either it's because maybe we're missing an information, because maybe we are maybe some selection criteria are not respected, and that maybe the next year you will be able to apply because you will meet the selection criteria that you're maybe not meeting one. So don't be discouraged by a negative answer to your expression of interest, and ask for feedback so that you can submit and be more successful to the next round or the next fair you're interested in. In the next slide, Paolo, please. You can see a couple of tips and tricks, or let's say advice to make a successful application. I would probably start with the ones that you shouldn't do, which are basically avoiding generic descriptions. In fact, whenever you're asked, for instance, to describe your strategy or your target market in the target country that you have in mind, this is where you need to provide a detailed description of what you're trying to do. This is where you explain to the team your go-to-market strategy and be as specific as possible. First, regarding your target audience, who it is, what kind of companies are you looking to meet, what are the stakeholders you have identified. These information are extremely important, because then when the team moves on to matchmaking you with local companies, they have information to work with. And basically, it's all in your interest to provide us with as much information as possible, because this is how we ensure that you have as targeted as possible matchmaking. Don't forget to specify your competitive edge. This is something that our experts that look into your applications look at. In fact, they want to understand to what extent you are unique. How will you differentiate on the Korean or Japanese market, for instance? So making sure that that you really stand out and that you are a good fit for these markets. Finally, why specifically this target market? This is quite important because it's not only just wanting to explore in Asia. You have to be specific. Why in Korea? Why in Japan? Who are the stakeholders? What kind of synergies do you see? These are elements that are very important for our experts to assess your application and see if there is potential or not. So I would say that the most important thing to do is to provide as much detail as possible, but also to be very careful in how you present them, because we often see in applications that numbers are like do not match, for instance, or like are forgotten or misfilled, and this is quite important for the quality, the overall quality of the application, I would say. So make sure that your numbers are consistent, the number of employees, the revenues, the turnover, because that doesn't look very good if on an application if the numbers are wrong. So main two elements to do is to provide details and make sure that the numbers are consistent. Then in the next slide, Paolo, please, you will see a quick example that we just wanted to showcase from a successful application. But basically, in your application, there is a question that says, please provide a short description of your international business strategy, especially with regard to the target market of this business mission. And here, a good answer would include the following elements. First, what are your overarching ambitions, and why is international expansion relevant to your product or your company? That's the first thing we're interested to know. The second one is to understand a bit more about the rationale behind why this specific market and this specific business mission. So why exactly Japan? Why exactly Korea? Why this specific trade fair associated with our program business mission? Then you want to give us an overview of your product or your company's competitive edge. Why is internationalization key to achieve it? Why are you going to stand out in this market? And finally, being a bit precise about the steps that you're aiming to take during the business mission, but also in general to achieve your ambitions. And if possible, don't hesitate to highlight any previous experience, successful stories of your internationalization, if you have any, to make sure that you showcase that you have lessons learned, or at least that you have willingness to try in this market. So these are a couple of elements of answers that I think are useful to take into account when you draft your application. In the next slide, please, Paolo. I just wanted to showcase, as mentioned, we have a list of contacts of clusters that are here to support you in drafting your applications. Our clusters, so we have one cluster per group of countries, let's say. So wherever you see your country on the list, you have an associated cluster with an associated email. And this is very important because we do a lot of back and forth with the clusters. Whenever you reach out to them and have a question, they reach out to us. If we have a question about your application, we reach out to them and they will liaise with you directly. So don't hesitate to use them. They are really here to guide you in this process and answer any of your questions. In the next slide, you will also see a quick QR code to collect your feedback. So please don't hesitate to let us know what you think about these sessions, if you think they're useful. That's something that we really take into account. We really try to improve them and make them as useful as possible. So please don't hesitate to share your feedback and also in general to follow the program on our social media. As you can see in the next slide, I think we have a bit of a compilation of where you can find us. So on X, but also LinkedIn, YouTube, our website, as well as our support mailbox where you can ask any questions. We also highly recommend that you subscribe to our newsletter. So don't hesitate to use the QR code that is right here to keep in touch and stay connected with the news of the program. So have a wonderful end of the day, and thanks to everyone for the presentation.